The Angels took a devastating blow, and it leaves me asking a question while also saying, I told you so. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the Touching Bases podcast. If you're new here, sit back and relax and give a like at the end if I've earned it. And if you're returning, subscribe and join the family. I mean, we're here to talk some baseball, the good, the bad, the ugly. Speaking of ugly, 99.3% of you are not subscribed, which kind of sucks. So help me out. Just click a button. Anyways, before we get into that team, I wanted to go over some basic news so we can get to the main video, but some stuff that's worth talking about. The Guardians are not going to have Tanner Bybee in because he has a sore shoulder. I almost mispronounced that. Instead, Joey Cantillo looks like he's going to be taking his place. So that kind of sucks for the Guardians. They might be out another pitcher due to inflammation at this point. On top of that, the Orioles made a bunch of trades, but they're losing Jordan Westbrook. He has a broken hand and he's going to be on the IL. I don't know for how long specifically, but I'm going to guess for 60 days. That's at least what's going to happen if you have a broken hand. It's a huge loss because Westbrook was batting like 269, and with 18 home runs and like 58 RBIs, he's been a solid bat for the Orioles offense. And as the Orioles went into the trade deadline, they focused mainly on pitching and made a couple moves here and there, but I still think they'll be able to pull through as long as Jackson Holliday can live up to the expectation that he had at the beginning of the season. In other news and more sad news, just real quick, the Dodgers first baseman Freddie Freeman, as it comes out, his 3-year-old son Maximus has, I don't know if I'm saying this right, a Guillain-Barré. I don't know if that's right, or Bayer. It is a neurological disorder. So I guess this is where the body's immune system attacks the nerves and it causes weakness, numbness, and paralysis. His son is 3 years old, if I haven't already mentioned that, and there is no known cure for this. It's a very sad news to hear for such a star player going through this with a 3-year-old son. They made a statement. I'll just read it off to you guys. These have been the hardest and scariest days of our lives. Maximus is such a special boy, and he has been fighting so hard. This is going to be a journey to recover, but we have faith that he will be completely healed. Thoughts and prayers out to the Freeman family. In other news, and not so much better news, the Angels, bro. Oh my God, it's been so rough. I told you this was a chance to sell high on a player that everybody loves before the season started. Mike Trout started the 2024 season 220, 325, and 541 with an OPS of 866, and he has held an OPS over 900 from 2012 till 2022. Only in 2011, which was technically, I guess, his rookie year, and 2023 and this year, he has an OPS under 900. That should explain how special he really is. And he was going to be one of the most valuable trade pieces in the offseason this last year for the Angels to have realistic like 3 or 4 top 100 prospects. Seriously. Now come April 29th, Mike Trout slides into a bag and is taken out because he has knee pain. Scans show he has a torn meniscus, not the first one, by the way, and instead of taking the whole season to heal, he had surgery just a couple days later, trying to nip it in the butt, come back and play. Trout was on his way to recovery and was just in the minors beginning his rehab 3 months later. Well, Mike Trout was just pulled out for the entire season. As the second rehab game, he tears the exact same meniscus that he just repaired for the 3rd time. Mike Trout is 32 years old on his 14th season with the Angels and is proven to this organization and the media and all fans that he is a team player, stating that he doesn't even want to go anywhere, that he wants to bring a championship to the team that gave him the shot to play in the pros. Well, I don't know how to not be cynical about this, but that's not going to happen for a while, and with losing Ohtani last season with 0 return for him, their farm system has only 1 top 100 prospect, and that is a right-handed pitcher, Caden Dana, at number 88 overall. The Angels are already selling the team as Moreno family can't seem to get their shit together. Now the front office is looking at an MVP level player out of his prime and 3 torn meniscus, 2 of them in 1 season, without any real light at the end of the tunnel for a winning team. My statement here is sell. Just know when you're down and find a way to rebuild. There are a few teams out there with a great farm system and are losing players at the end of this year, and they may not even re-sign them. We'll start out with the least likely just because mainly budget reasons. If we look at Mike Trout's contract, we'll get into that later. They have 5 prospects in the top 100. Their lowest ranking top prospect is number 76, going all the way up to number 3 in Junior Caminero. So these guys are stacked with prospects that they can trade for a super all-star if he can stay healthy. The reason why I'm saying not really the Rays, because they aren't really losing anybody. Yes, they did trade away Randy Arozarena, but they seem to fill in their slots the way they would like, and plus the contract overall. Next year, the only people they're really losing is a couple pitchers, and then Brendan Lau has a club option. Highly doubt they're going to let him go just because he is swinging a decent bat, and he is only costing them $4 million a year. Moving on to the more less likely would be the Mariners. Now, I'm not saying I wouldn't love to see Mike Trout in Seattle, but I mean, I'm just going to put it out here. They have 6 of the top 100 prospects, Tyler Locklear being one that's already at the MLB level, and he's ranked number 98 out of the system, but they still have Cole Young, Harry Ford, Colt Emerson, Lazaro Montes, and Felnin Celestin. These are coming out at number 22, 23, 41, 50, and 89. These are options. We're talking shortstop, second base, catcher, shortstop, second base, outfield, shortstop, first base. And I can tell you right now, they can absolutely use some of these guys looking into the future. Now, is it reasonable? Probably not. Again, with the contract and how cheap the Mariners system is, it just doesn't exactly line up. But I can tell you right now, they can definitely reach out and say, are you interested? And there might be a little bit of nibbles here and there, but this could be an opportunity to get 3 of these guys that are in the top 100 for sure. And that's what I'm saying, even with his injury past. Now, on the other side, there is a possibility that Jerry might surprise us all. Looking at Justin Turner, who has a $13 million contract, he just traded over, he's a rental, and also Mitch Haniger has a player option. Depending or not, he's most likely going to want to stay in Seattle, but they also have a club option on Jorge Polanco, who's at $5.15 million, and then the same with Jimmy Garcia. So you're looking at about $23 million of revenue that they're not going to have on their books at the end of this season. Still not enough for Mike Trout, but probably consider that they might actually take a jab if this was an option. Next up is Cleveland Guardians. Now they have 4 guys in the top 100. They have the number 28, 35, 83, and 85. An outfield, first base, another outfield, and guess what? Another first base. These guys are definitely not going to be ready for a few years. We're looking at all the way to 2027, and then one of them most likely ready next year, but he's already played in the majors, and it hasn't exactly been awesome. There is a potential possibility that they will be signing Shane Bieber back again, but his contract does end. Alex Cobb was just traded to them, and he is also going to be released next year. Now, those two alone is already $23 million off their books. That doesn't include Scott Barlow, Austin Hedges, Carlos Carrasco, and Matt Boyd. At the end of this season, that's also another $13.5 million that's going to be off their books. And this is where we get a little bit more serious. Minnesota Twins. Yeah, I said the Twins. The guys that basically did almost nothing during this trade deadline. They have 6 of the top 100 prospects. One of them is literally number 100, but they also have big names like Walker Jenkins that everybody's talking about, and Brooks Lee, who's been putting on a show since he filled in at third base recently when Royce Lewis was out. They also have Emmanuel Rodriguez and Dave Festa. All of these guys are ready in 2024, 2025, 2026. Now, why would I say that these guys would be an option? Well, a lot of these are tradable pieces because the Twins don't exactly need these spots filled immediately. On top of that, they can return with an elite outfielder that they can be really cautious about, and consider that Carlos Santana is a 1-year deal. He'll be gone next season at $5 million. They are also still paying on Manuel Margot with $9.5 million from that trade. Max Kepler will also be gone at $7 million, and then Kyle Farmer at $6 million will also be another mutual option. So we're talking about $20 million just there, and not including all of the pitchers that are going to be possible free agents or have club options. So that means they probably would have the room to cover Mike Trout's contract and add an elite outfielder to their crew. Next up is the Phillies. I don't know exactly how realistic this would be, but they do have 5 top 100 prospects, and one of them being Andrew Painter, and then Aiden Miller, also including Justin Crawford, who's number 53. Now, they're pretty much good through 2025, but in 2026, they are going to either have to renew or extend, or they're going to lose JT Realmuto and Kyle Schwarber. So we're talking about 2 guys that potentially play DH most of the time, especially with Kyle Schwarber. So this could be the option for them to replace him with Mike Trout, and then when Mike Trout feels healthy enough, he can play defense. On top of that, Austin Hayes will be released where his contract ends. I don't have his numbers exactly up right in front of me since the trade, so I'm not entirely sure how much the Orioles are covering his contract since they made that trade just a couple days ago. But from what I can see here, they're going to be out at least 2 outfielders, one of them being a DH. Another team is the Mets. Now, they are made of money. They already have 5 top 100 prospects in their system, including Jet Williams and Drew Gilbert. These guys are all ready within 2024 to 2026 as well. So they're ready to enter the bigs, which could help the Angels significantly. On top of that, if you were to look at the contracts for 2025, Pete Alonso is going to have to be re-signed. Chaminade has a player option, so who knows if he's going to want to stick around. Jose Quintana is going to be a free agent. Luis Cervino is going to be a free agent. JD Martinez is going to be a free agent. There's your DH gone. Harrison Bader, your center fielder, is going to be gone. And then on top of that, they just added Jesse Winker, who is going to be a free agent at the end of this year. So you're talking a ton of players going into next season that are going to be free agents and probably not sticking around. This could be an opportunity for them to trade in the offseason to get back a bunch of prospects for the Angels, and then Mike Trout has a chance of playing in a playoff series or maybe the World Series with how good the Mets have been playing, and you know there's extra money to back it up, so they don't have to worry about how much they're spending because $37 million is literally only 3 of their players. Next up is the San Francisco Giants. I'm not exactly too hot on this being a possibility, but I know they have the money for it. They have 4 top 100 prospects, one of them being Carson Whisenhunt. I don't see them trading him, but Bryce Eldridge and Marco Luciano still is playing in the bigs, and then on top of that, Hayden Birdsong is the starting pitcher, and in fact that he's playing in this next series, and they are rated at single A and MLB, but they are playing in the bigs already, and they've been proven. This is something that the Angels might be super interested in, given that Mark Canha that they just received, their left fielder, is going to be a free agent next season. That's $13 million they're not going to have to spend. On top of that, Michael Conforto's contract ends at the end of the season, and his is at $18 million. So you're looking at 2 outfielders that are similar in ability, and that would be an upgrade next season instead of re-signing these guys to have Mike Trout as your batter in your lineup. I'm not saying this could happen for the Giants. I can see it's plausible because they would have the capital for it, and they would have a spot for him in center or left or right field. They'd probably be able to move stuff around. Imagine it, Yastrzemski, Lee, Trout. I'm just saying. Last but not least is the Milwaukee Brewers as a possibility here. Now, this is all theoretical, so I'm sorry if this is going a long time, but if this is one of your guys' team, let me know down in the comments if you would like to see Mike Trout on the team. And if you're an Angels fan, are you being realistic about this? Think about the return that you can get. Christian Yelich is out for the rest of the season due to back issues. He's probably going to be having surgery, and I believe that already has been confirmed. If Christian Yelich, God forbid, his season is over with, Mike Trout is a perfect replacement. Christian Yelich will probably continue to be paid for the rest of his years, even though he won't be playing if he does have to be medically retired, but he is making $26.928 million. And with that said, in 2029, that is when his contract ends with a mutual option, and his contract will end in 2030, where he'll become a free agent, and his contract is currently at $26 million. If he's no longer there and that's no longer needed to be paid for, I would consider giving up 2 of those prospects in order to get Mike Trout. Buy low at this point if you're another team. Angels need to accept what they have and start rebuilding ASAP, because there is no chance, unless you're trading Mike Trout, that you're going to be able to get a winning team at this point. Now going back over to Trout specifically, he still has 6 years on his contract, and even with the injuries, he could be a DH for a team and give a 2-7 WAR in a 2025 with just his bat alone. No stealing, no fielding, ABM for a season, come back 1,000% in 2026. Now he won't be cheap, and he has to agree to the deal. Trout has a $37,116,666 contract per year and no trade clause, which means Trout needs to agree to the trade or the deal is dead. Or the Angels do what they always do and hang on to them for too long as if they haven't already and get nothing in return. To me, it's wrong to have an organization withhold a championship from a player at his caliber. They aren't willing or able to spend the money for elite bats and pitching. Their stadium is falling apart. The owner has done shady deals with the government that's turned into FBI investigations. When they make a big splash, they sign guys with zero ability to save themselves if that backfires, Anthony Rendon. So I plead, and so should Angels fans, sell Trout this offseason while you can and gear up for 2027 championship team. Comment below and tell me what team you think he should go to if they were to finally pull the trigger, and why. Is it your team, and why would you put him there? And if you need to, who would you cut? On the same side, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Later.